If you can't see really well, maybe move that way just a little bit. I know with the sun it's kind of hard. This is a map. This is where we were in El Salvador. El Salvador is in Central America. It has 191 miles of coastline, although it's a very, very small country. But it's also a beautiful country. There's a lot of beauty within the poverty that we were able to see.
I'm going to pass this out really quick because it has a map right
Yeah,
in the front.
right, that'd be perfect. Yeah. A lot of times when we go to El Salvador, a lot of people don't realize where it is, and it is because it's so small. But really not too far away, a few hours drive is Antigua, Guatemala, which is beautiful, Belize. So there's some beautiful areas in Central America as well. Let's see here. El Salvador, I think one of the things to note when we're there in San Salvador, the city itself is extremely, extremely densely populated. Lots and lots of people, very busy. Traffic is horrific. You can't complain about Chicago traffic when you're in San Salvador because it's just, you sometimes just don't even move. And the variety of people that live there, their economics are very different. From very, very poor to people that live in million-dollar homes in the mountains, to people driving 1976 Datsun little trucks, to people driving BMWs that are pretty new. So it's a very interesting area to go. There's not a huge middle class. It's not strong. The country is trying to build that way. You can't see those. Okay. So the Civil War, every year we talk about the Civil War because it's very important. And went on for 12 years, ending in 1992. And it was on TV quite a bit when, as I was going through high school. But we never can make that connection as to exactly what's going on. And the reason why is because some of the terms we use in war, we use words like guerrilla, guerrilla fighters, and soldiers, and we really don't understand what is that. And really, in the Civil War in El Salvador, the guerrillas were the people. Those were the youth that were fighting. The gentleman that Christian Chevalier that painted those beautiful crosses that we've sold over the last couple of years, he was about 14 years old, fighting with a machine gun in the Civil War. Much of his community and family were killed. They call it the river that was by his house. They called it the Blood River because there were so many deaths. The river was actually red from all the blood from all the people. So listening to his stories or reading it, you really realize and can't even really relate to what that might be like to have your child fighting in something like that. And we're not talking that long ago, you know. So their country had to recover from that, and it is still going through a recovery process. But a country that doesn't have what other countries have, it's going to take a very long time, so they're in that process.
That's a picture of all of you
Oh,
guys.
that's pretty cool.
It's very hard to see.
Yes, and I said at the first service, this is a very rare opportunity that we all had to really work hard to get together for this photo because we were all doing different things. There was a couple days we didn't even see Darian. He even slept overnight in a community doing his solar panel project. Zach went his way. Everybody kind of went their own ways some days that you wouldn't see one another for like 12 hours. So to get a group picture on the day of our parade march was awesome because I just able to get it.
So pretty much the solar panels, we would go out to these houses that are like in the middle of nowhere pretty much. They're usually houses that have 3 to 4 or 5 people in them. They're probably no bigger than everyone's living rooms. And it's pretty sad to see, but we'd install the solar panels on the roof facing them south so they get the most sunlight as the sun goes across the sky. And we pretty much turn on the lights to them, and seeing their faces, seeing their eyes when the lights turn on, they sparkle because it's the first time that they've seen lights in their house. So it's a really great experience that I got to experience.
Darian, tell me what kind of lights they were. We have a little bit more time at this.
They were like LED lights that we would just strip to the top of their roof. Sometimes we just use blue, or we'd use blue. But
They were basically rope lights.
yeah, they're just little rope lights that we bought at the local EPA store.
Salvador Mission Church. We all went to school, every single person, I think for the most part went except for 2 of the solar guys. We went and we put on a skit for the kids that went to school, and the churches bring VBS crafts, so when we go there we do the VBS crafts with them. And then after that, all the kids, they make little gifts for us to give like messages and just little like trinkets, so they hand all that out to us. And then the next day, me, Rachel, David, and Darian went to school, and everyone else went somewhere else. And the kids had a soccer tournament, and they just liked to have fun. They actually didn't have school that day, they just wanted to come and play soccer. So we did that, and every like grade level played against each other, and then it got up to the older kids playing against us. We actually won. I was very surprised. I didn't think we were gonna win, but we did win. It was a lot of fun. And with the noisy offering money that we raised from help you guys and everybody else, we actually got to sponsor a child, which helps pay for the teachers that work there, because sometimes they don't have enough money to pay for your teachers. We claim bigger donations that help pay for the teachers' salaries.
So we went to this farm in Cologne, and originally we were going to go there to help build a chicken coop. One of the guys that was kind of designing the project fell off a ladder and got hurt, so we couldn't do the chicken coop. So instead, Don Julio, one of the guys with the family that lives there, asked if we would buy him a driveway for him because they needed to get some machinery in to level out some land and put it in a soccer field so that the youth have a safe place to go when they're not in school, and to kind of, shelter them a little bit more. So because there's a lot of large rocks in the dirt there that they use for building walls and such, we had to, move all the dirt by hand and stack up the rocks in a pile. So we spent, several hours working on that. So that was pretty exciting. And well, it was a lot of work, I guess. It was very exciting. But one of the things too that I forgot to mention at the earlier service, this house, Anakari and Christian said that, or not the house, the farm, that they were in the process of finalizing payments from the owner of the land, because the family that stays there stays there and works for the farm. That he was selling it to the Lutheran church so that the family's still going to stay there, and then, basically like all the proceeds from the farm would go to help other families.
Okay, so when I was there, I spent 2 or 3 days going on medical missions, and we go with this doctor, this El Salvadoran doctor. She's like 30. She is the president's doctor actually, and when she isn't doing that, she volunteers once a week at the Hope House, which is the homeless shelter that we volunteer a lot at when we're there. And when we come, we go to different communities. We went to Cologne. Or the day when we were digging the dirt, there was a medical mission. We went to another community, Guacume, and the Hope House, yeah. And we helped, she prescribed medications, and we helped find the medications and hand it out to them. We served like 100 people each community, and it's a lot, it's really helpful. And any medication that anyone at this church donated, or any dental supplies that they donated, was given up. And it's just a great experience.
So when we are in El Salvador, one of the things we stay at Casa Concordia, which is essentially a guest house when delegations are there. But when there aren't delegations there, Mama Trini, the person that owns the guest house, uses it kind of as like a retreat or a safe haven. So youth who are on the streets or have to travel for school can stay there, and she helps take care of all of them. So she does a lot of work, and especially when we're there, we're a group of, I think we're 34 this year. So when we're there, these people that stay at the house year-round are taking care of us. So one of the things we like to do is cook them a meal, and just to give back to them and show our appreciation for what they do for us. So Mama Trini, the owner of the house, she invites her whole family from all over the country, and we cook them a big meal. So we cooked nachos and Rice Krispie treats this year. So you can't really see it, but Michelle is stirring this giant bowl of marshmallows, and we are chopping vegetables to make some like fresh guacamole and things like that. So it's just one way we like to give back to that family that gives us so much while we're there.
Okay, Mrs. Barnes? Farming Hope, which we just had our blessing on this wonderful project of Farming Hope, is near and dear to my heart. All year, you know, I'm doing things with that. This year, in March, I went to speak at the St. Charles Noon Club Rotary Group. I am a Rotarian myself, but I did a presentation about Farming Hope and about the fact that we can have a farm here to help people in our own community. And with that, I created a proposal and was able to get $1,000. So I brought $800 with me to El Salvador, and $200 is designated for this farm that we can use for the next year, because you live and learn. So we live and learn about how we're going to do some weed control. We're going to try to make sure Kurt Redmond isn't the only one picking the cucumbers and bringing them over to the Albert Food Pantry, although we love his help. And so, you know, you live and learn through this process, but the Farming Hope process in El Salvador is even more than here, in that people that are in the homeless shelter go through some rehab, making sure that they can truly live out on the farm, which is in Suchitoto. So that would be like going to like maybe a Schaumburg, you know, 45 minutes or so drive. And the farm there, then they live there. So last year it was a family of a man, a woman, and his child. And they lived on that farm for I think about 9 months, and they took care of the farm, they made sure everything was good until they got themselves on their feet, and then they moved on. And then this year there was a different family there. So the whole process is to get people off the street, rehabbed, and then maybe go through that farm process. Besides growing corn and beans and all kinds of fruits and vegetables that we ate when we were there, some of the food was from that farm, they also make wine and shampoo and teas and different things like that too. So I think the whole process is just really neat. And it's neat that we brought it here. It's awesome. The Peace March. The Peace March is, it's an amazing march if you think about why they're doing that and the fact that they have peace. And a lot of that peace was misunderstood early in the war. The United States was actually there to fight the guerrillas, the people, initially, because they didn't realize they were not fully informed. Imagine that, politics. But an ambassador to the United States that was stationed in El Salvador realized, wait a minute, these guerrillas are people. Why are we doing this? This country, we need to help them find some kind of peace between their government and their people. So a lot of that Peace March is about that. And the Peace March, there's a huge, beautiful wall that has the name every single year, those 12 years, and all the people that died that they know of. And there's over 75,000 people and children that were killed in the war. And the home that we stay at, Maria Trinidad, that manages this house, her son was killed in that war, so his name is on there. There's priests that their names on there. Priest Romero, thank you, Zach. His name is on there as well because he was killed while he was actually giving a service because of the fact that often the church and the state are separate. But the church found that the people were suffering and spoke out against what the government was doing. And because of that, there were 6 Jesuit priests that were killed, Romero was killed, nuns were killed. Even during the massive service for this priest, Romero, who was just, idolized in that country, the government stood on top of the buildings with machine guns and shot down to the people that were there to, pay homage to him. So this country has gone through a lot. So the fact now that the president of that country used to be a guerrilla shows you how much things have turned around, that the country is slowly making a change, but still has a long way to go because there is a lot of poverty and a lot of people that are not educated.
Rachel.
So one of the days we were in El Salvador, we went to a hospital and we were visiting some cancer patients that were staying there. And we were praying for them, and it made me really happy because we also brought them flowers and little gifts like that. And I think that was my favorite part. I think because it just made a lot of people really happy to see so many families have so much hope and faith at that moment.
I think one of the things, since we have a little bit of time, one of the things I'm going to add on, because I know it really touched you, Rachel, because we talked about it afterward, is it's a smaller hospital, and it is where Romero lived, and it's part of the church, and everything is right there. So it's a very special place. But I think the first time I went, and I know Michelle was touched, it's just, I mean, we stand in the hallways, they're almost like arm in arm down these hallways, and we'll sing. And so if you can imagine this group of really awesome people, and the others that were there, and there's almost like an echoey feel, I get the chills just talking about it, and we'll sing a song, and you have people laying in bed, and they're dying of cancer, they're dying. And so to think that they let us go in there and do that, and hold their hands, even though we do not know their language, it was just really awesome.
David?
My favorite part of the trip was going to the school and seeing the kids play their games.
And I'm going to say one more thing, because David here, which is not David, is it? It's David. You think he is quiet and shy, but he lit up the faces of so many kids, playing cards with them, doing all kinds of things. And I know he doesn't like me for doing this right now. But I mean, you get to see how it just brings, and I know his mom's not going to say it because then she'll be in trouble. I can at least go to my own house. But she was so proud of watching him, and we shared a room, and it's just a wonderful thing to see all these kids, but especially our silent one here.
At the end of every trip, everyone gets awards for something, and David's award was silent but deadly like a fart.
They're like silly awards, we get it. My award was what? The best Spanglish, because I'm so bad at Spanish.
So at the end of May, we had our Supercharged Sunday for El Salvador, and one of the things we did there was we made banners, and we brought them down to El Salvador. So we brought those banners to 3 different churches. I know you can't see those pictures, but on the left-hand side, there is a picture that a picture of a banner that we left in Waikume, and we made the banner. We put the handprints of children from Grace here on the banner, and then we brought it to Waikume and put the handprints of the Waikume children on the banner. And the banner says, "Let the children come," from the Matthew Bible verse, and it will hang in the Waikume church. This middle picture is of a new church that was started the week that we got down there. The altar is just 2 tree posts and a metal roof. That's all the church is. It's just that. So once they kind of finish that, the second banner will hang in that church, and then the last banner will hang in Resurrection Lutheran Church, which is the main church of San Salvador for the Lutheran faith. So the 3 banners will hang there. We also made the little angels and cross pockets at the Supercharged Sunday. Those were passed out at the cancer hospital, like Rachel had mentioned. Delaney mentioned that we did use the money that we collected from the Noisy Offerings to sponsor a student for a year, which helps pay for the salaries of the teachers. We made the care kits on our Supercharged Sunday, which Zach passed out during the medical missions at the homeless shelter. So we made over 40 care kits that were all distributed to the homeless while we were down there. So with your help on just one day, we were able to do all of that and spread it all over the country. So we thank you so much for donating that stuff and donating your time to help make those banners, make those kits, and all of that. So thank you very much. And then what's coming up next?
So one of the days we went over to the Universidad and we spoke with the Pastor Matias and Pastor Martinez, and then also Marie Trinidad. We kind of split into groups to talk about just things that are going on and projects that they are working on. And when I say they, I mean like the church down there and all the people down there. So I spoke with Pastor Matias and Martinez, and one of the things that they mentioned, I mean they mentioned several, but one of them was a bread baking business. So about 20 women from the church down there took a class about how to make bread and how to market it and sell it and sort of start their own business. And they're trying to raise money to purchase a oven that'll cost about $1,200. And it's a special kind of oven that, they'll use for baking this bread. So we decided that we wanted to kind of continue the mission throughout the year instead of just once a year when we're down there for a week. So we told the pastors that we were going to try to raise a half the money, $600 towards this oven. And, if we can get over that, great. If not, maybe one of the other churches that went with will come up with the other half. So Camille had made these little pictures of thermometers out in the,
Yes.
And it will just kind of color it in as the amount of money we raise increases toward that goal. And throughout the year, we'll let you guys know whenever we have some fundraising ideas. Oh, I just wanted to say one more thing about that bread making thing. So the reason that I liked it, and because I was kind of the one that picked this one, was because the women that want to do it, the idea is that they can make enough money from selling bread so they can pay themselves a salary and be able to support their family, so they don't have to keep asking for help to, buy their groceries and stuff.
Farming Hope.
Oh, the Farming Yeah, Farming Hope, which I talked about a little bit, will continue to, and I have another presentation I was invited to go to talk with the Silver Foxes group in St. Charles about Farming Hope. So not only here, but it's in El Salvador. So I'm going to keep working on that mission. The other mission I'd love to see is if we can get our bread baking project going. I would love to see us being able to help them with another chicken coop. So as I walked around with Pastor Matthias, he was explaining that they have one chicken coop, which we were really hoping we could finish when we were there, but the gentleman that hurt himself was kind of the project manager. But it's a very simple coop, and they cost around $450 to $600. And the one coop they have right now is for pollo, for chicken that they would eat. But now they want another chicken coop for the eggs. So, I just think of what we spend our money on sometimes, and we don't realize, one car payment can buy a chicken coop somewhere else, So I think that we can do that, and we'll be clear, yeah, lots of chicken coop. And it's just because they sell these things, they use these things in their community, and they don't expect us to give them all the money. They work to do this too. And they're so good about making sure we have receipts for everything. I was not able to go to a special service. It was for a Pastor Attilio in his new church, but we sent one of our banners there, and the Gus family sent him $50. They sent him $50 with a note, saying we're so happy about your new church and everything. And I said, use it how you feel is necessary. And by the time I got home, he sent me pictures of chairs he bought it's a real simple structure like this, but much smaller, of plastic chairs to go out with a receipt. And, I didn't expect that, but that is the kind of, thankfulness, and they want you to know what they're using the money for, and I just want you guys to make sure you know that too.
Not done. You're not done.
Okay, good.
Are you done?
No, I
thought you were.
I think I'm fine.
Okay.
This is our
Little video. Hopefully
Video.
you see something.
This one's playing upstairs too.
Yeah.
Anytime my heart turns from darkness to light, anytime temptation comes and someone stands to fight, anytime somebody lives to serve and not be served, I know God is on the move, hallelujah, God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah, God is on the move today. Anytime in weakness someone falls upon their knees or dares to speak Jesus, send me, here I go. I know, I know, I know, I know. God is on the move, on the move. Hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, on the move. Hallelujah. God is on the move today. God is on the move, on the move. Hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, on the move. Hallelujah. God is on the move today. I see a generation standing on the truth. Each and every nation, God's on the move.
So hopefully you can see at least one of those pictures. But we do have this playing up in the narthex, so if you guys do want to see it a little clearer, please stop in there. We'll play it next week too. And then also we'll try to load it to the YouTube channel so you can access it through Facebook and all of that as well. With that, we'll continue to communion.
Before we do communion, I just wanted to say again, there was 8 of us that went on this trip. And I know Camille, Michelle, and I are very prayerfully considering maybe we start our own mission trip. We have a very small church compared to some of those, excuse me, some of those other churches that we went with. Most churches are big churches in California, and they didn't have 8 people that went, and we had 8 people from our church. So even though we're a small church, we have a big heart, and we do a lot of wonderful things, and I want you to remember that. And one way to remember that is I'm hoping we can use this during communion, and this is something for us to remember every Sunday, El Salvador and all those people in that country that are suffering, but every week, make sure that they go